We're 100 days from the election now, less than. I have a hard time believing the Wayfair thing based on the Russia. Mostly anything dealing with Russia, I have a hard time to believe.
You fill 1,700 pages, and maybe you'll want to write more of them. I mean, everything we're talking about, you could have a page and a half.
And maybe they'd read more of them too.
Yeah.
Because the long form discussion is taking over these news segments, are taking over these spoon-fed, prepackaged media sound bites that we get every day.
Media. Yep.
Do you think anyone on the left should have been blamed for this?
The insurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the entire media.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hey everyone, Dave here, December 1773. With me as always is Ryan, 30-year-old Ryan. This is episode 64 of The Weekly Show, all the week's hottest topics with a twist. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Follow us along on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. And of course, you can follow us on all other social media platforms as well if you'd like. We each have the old Instagram. Ryan's got a TikTok that he has done videos on. I have a TikTok. We have a TikTok, December 1773, that we have not done a video on. Probably won't do one.
We probably could.
But we could, you never know. So you should follow it. Maybe I'll do a TikTok one day.
If we're not lazy fucks, run your whole life plus extra. Is that less whiteness? Oh, Arnold Palmer? All right.
I can't say what it is. I don't know. Some type of mixture of drink.
Yeah.
Ryan is recently turning 30. As
Today,
Ryan's birthday. Ryan said he's got something to open with. I'm interested because Ryan does some stuff. He does some Ryan stuff that I don't do, and it always interests me.
I do Ryan stuff, so I do appreciate you entertaining my Ryan stuff, man. Because, I did it last year. I don't know what pod it was, but we started before my birthday. So I turned 29 last year on the podcast, right? But we did not record on my birthday like it is actually today, because today is a Saturday record. So, happy Monday evening. But anyways, so I read last year something I wrote when I turned 29, when I was 28, and I read when I was 29. So now I wrote something when I was 29 so I could read when I'm 30. And this is what I wrote. I wrote it on October 14th of last year. What have I learned in 29 years? Know your worth. Expect what you least expect. Be grateful and honor your family. Protect the weak and hold the strong accountable. Feed your own energy. Never feast on fruits that were laid for crows. Keep your sword sharp, but your pen well trained. Discipline is mastering of your mind. Become forged by it. Enjoy the scent of flowers, but do not become greedy. All roses have thorns. Appreciate people's times, especially your own. Emotions don't make you weak, but strengthen your resolve. It's easy to cut deep when you've been cut deep. Love is a currency. So, I don't know what I learned in 30 years, but I'm sure I'll write that one soon enough.
We will know. We'll have to wait a year to get it, but we'll know what you learned in 30 years.
It's pretty good 29, man. My sister told me you got to earn 30, right? And, everybody's been through stuff. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining how I feel. Everybody's been through a lot of stuff. We all relate and talk about it, hopefully, right? It's like a pillar of this whole organization here. But, the last year has really tested me in ways that most people will never be tested. In my opinion, my life, especially at my age. So, it's not like groundbreaking things that happens in all stories, all people's lives. And so, yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm more grateful now than I've ever been. And maybe that's because of that. But the amount of growth I think I've done personally in 1 year, when I was 29 till now to 30, is substantial. So You can always change, but it takes one day at a time. And like Jordan Peterson says, the most important thing I've ever done is started cleaning my room, because it really helped me organize my life, my thoughts, my drives, and my abilities. And it freed up a lot of other energy and effort that was wasted on other things, because I focused on myself, which has allowed me to provide for myself in ways that most people can't. So I thank God for that. Yeah, hopefully I make another 30, government willing.
30, another, oh man.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I was talking with my dad today about, I kind of brought it up on last week's pod about ancestry and stuff and the Civil War and your grandparents. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking with him about it, and it's so crazy how much shit happens in your lifetime, right? Because I told him, I was like, dude, we're the last generation of real people. Like, I remember before cell phones, you know, like the whole, we always joke about it, the bikes on the outside, you know, come home when the street lights come on. That's like the easiest analogy for our childhood. There's no cell phones, dude. I was trying to explain to my kid the other day about like the radio. You stream things. You pick what you listen to. Never happened. As well as like what made that song.
TV was the same way. You had to wait for something you wanted to hear or watch to come on.
Yeah, it was like that's what made it a hit, was everybody was like, oh, holy shit, everybody enjoys this at one time. Now, I'm not saying we should go back to restrictive information and everything, but the point is like to see how far we've come in our life, and we're only in our 30s. Very cool. So hopefully we don't, you know, build back to better.
Ryan, you had sent me this. We're going to get into headline segment here. Get the show rolling. You had sent me this. So naturally, I know you're going to have some things to say about it. Headlines. New York Times issues major correction after claiming 900,000 kids have been hospitalized with COVID. Brian, were they using misinformation?
Nah, it was just like misspoken information. This is what, if like you were speaking in context, right? Like Trump was example, he had plenty of moments that was, what's it, a Freudian slip or something along those lines? Mm-hmm. Like when you like misspeak or like you fuck up, you know? So, but they did that with journalism. They took the numbers of kids that have been done from the beginning of the pandemic of last year and acted like it was for a few months. Could you imagine if, out of all the crises going on, that's the last one I didn't hear about crises of COVID children spreaders. And another thing that was more important to me was they're directly making policy and pushing vaccines based on numbers that they portray to us. But the very numbers being portrayed to us are lies. So not in their information, but in their presentation, they are lies. So
and we'll get into something a little bit that this leads to, but I want to talk about the bigger issue in all of this, because I've seen this becoming a trend now. The news, this is becoming a new term. If you're on the left and you say something incorrect, it's not misinformation, it's misstated.
What was their actual, I know this was like Daily Wire, but I think they quoted the New York Times themselves of like, I don't have my phone handy, but like even the New York Times had to like rebuttal or rebuke or like whatever this. They silenced the president at the time for misinformation and on the election, for example, right? Censored his whole Twitter, deleted everything as far as we know. And the New York Times, the guys of journalism, the holders of beacons of truth, can like, how Orwellian? This is ridiculous. Why are we not like?
We need to call it what it is, though. You don't misspeak. You don't misstate this kind of information. This was specific information. They pushed it knowingly.
These people know exactly what they're doing. Dude, I had Buffalo News. I don't buy their propaganda. Oh, here it is. I don't buy their propaganda. But to read on a newspaper, right? I've actually bought this shit. Be prepared to pay a lot more to your heating homes this winter. When you shut fucking everything down, guys. Nah, there's gonna be no problems. I get asked if I believe in the economy. How can I believe in the economy and the government can do whatever they want? Yeah, the media, to backtrack, media knows exactly what they're doing. They didn't misspeak. They used this data to push. I mean, every other commercial is a pharmaceutical company commercial on mainstream news. and insurance or some shit. So I'm buying insurance on the problems. Get disability insurance. I wonder if vaccines are on disability insurance. And that's the thing with like saying you just misspoke though. Maybe that's what we have. Maybe we talked about it yesterday or last week rather about people only catching one bit of news a week. You know, that's all they need. So it's so hard to fight propaganda, and I don't consume do it and buy it, but I have to have. I mean, I'm really happy we keep say the stuff on record because. What did they do under Trump, right? They probably altered numbers, right? And if they were government numbers, they know the real numbers. All the internal polling, all the internal beliefs and all of that, you know. Yeah, I wanted to also say this. Like, I'm so tired of... We say it every week, almost now. These guys, we show proof of them. I feel a lot like AJ in that regard because that's what I feel like he would actually do. He would just present what they're talking about. Be like, you guys are contradicting yourselves. And I seen a pretty powerful thought that said Joe Biden, you remember his vaccine thing that he came out and said? There's actually no law tied to that.
What specific thing do you mean?
When he said the employers, he's going to consort with OSHA so that they can mandate.
The Department of Labor to. Yep.
Yeah, there's no actual law.
No, but here's the interesting thing.
It's just a press release. Like it's literally like an email. Right, like, hey, I'm emailing you because they have diluted laws to emails to the average person because you don't understand how powerful they really are until they're long after they pass thousands of bills. But yeah, they know what they're doing, man.
Well, the interesting thing is places are acting on that though because Eve actually just got an email that due to whatever she has to get the vaccine to continue working at her place of work. So like this place is acting on this mandate that carries no weight.
Yeah, what honestly, I thank the heavens that I don't have to worry about that personally with my current employer. But I would have her ask her employer, show me which law says this. And because I'm getting a lawyer. Like, what else do you do? Is this even legal? Nobody knows that, right? And that's why the news in general has to be like fighting misinformation on legalities of vaccine mandates. And they're referencing stuff back to the 1900s, the early 1900s. Oh, when people were shitting in pots still?
Yeah, there hasn't been any recent precedent, to your point.
No, yeah, there's not.
That I know of. I mean, if somebody knows of something, put it below, but...
Dude, everybody has a cell phone. There's no comparison to anything historical in the history of history. Okay, everybody has a cell phone, and you can get anywhere and do pretty much anything. Literally, unless there's the 10% of things that people always magnify, the crime and all this other crazy bad stuff. But generally, in America, you can go to the bathroom in peace and live your life. That's crazy. It's not everywhere. It's not always been like this. So no, there's no modern comparison to this vaccine thing, but to go further, once again, ask your employer, okay, show me which law, because it's not in your employer's handbook, right, which is the legal paperwork you sign to get there. That's the legal freaking thing. That's the email that you check yes to for whatever. Like, we've lost this, but that's exactly what it is. Ask them to show you the law. I don't care if it's OSHA, Department of Labor, fine. If this is the law, can I have it so I can read the information so I can do what I have to do? And they can't do anything against you, right? Because you're innocent until proven guilty. If there's no law to even hold me guilty to, how can I break a law that doesn't exist? How can you mandate laws that don't exist? You're actually mandating on words. You're not even, which is terrible. You're not even mandating things that are on paper, which are enforceable, which have like meaning behind every word. This is crazy. It dilutes everything of English. I was thinking of this, man. With our kids, it's going to be so hard to try to teach them how the world got here because it's not even going to seem relevant to them because everything's crazy. Like, the good thing about Western governments, it was like it pushed the same ideology it melted millions of people. It's crazy. It melted all the tribes of Europe and Germania and all these other, right? All these Roman tribes, Greek and, North Africans and Sicilians and all these different Ilians, even though they're all the same people, Viking people with English people, Britons and Slavs with Russians, like all the white shit you always like. That's what like the legal system came from, man. It's crazy. They dilute it so much. We take it for granted.
There's no doubt there's going to be long legal battles ahead, and we're going to see how this unfolds. But when we were talking about, this relates.
Advice. This is not legal advice. Fucking YouTube.
This relates.
Crazy you even have to say that. Oh, we'll just automatically get shadow banned because I talk about a hot prime minister in a foreign country.
This relates directly to kind of what we were talking about, though, because when people misspeak and then it creates policy that's not even real policy, it doesn't even exist, or it creates this kind of mindset and narrative. Headlines. Dr. Fauci, who's nobody, unelected, declares Americans should give up individual freedom for the greater good of society. That's good.
Talk about the looting Western government. You know who does that, David? Ask me who does that. Oh, yeah, Asia and China and communists, right? People's Republic of China with a president for life and communism, concentration camps of Muslims.
Yes, that is who does that. Also, we should do that. I mean, we should do that. We want to make sure that the weakest among us are taken care of, Ryan.
This is really why they went after the police first, right? Because they actually, if you stretch out the word police, right, it's policymen, policemen, right? Right? That makes sense to you, Dave?
Sure. I don't know if that's true or not, but sure.
No, but think about it. I bet you if you were to, look like, I think I did it with, I think I did do it with politics, like the root word of politics, all the way back to ancient Greece words and what that meant. But that's where like policy and police and politics, politicians, there's a reason that's why they've taken it from us, so we don't understand it. But the police is really the front line of all these laws that they enforce, right? And the thing with America, there's a new video showing out. I've seen a black gentleman, a paraplegic, apparently get dragged out of the car by a police officer.
I think it was in Ohio. I mean, to be fair, he couldn't really help himself out.
I don't know. I'm not even going to speak on it, but I bring it up because, I know why you show hostility and everything and whatever, but the whole point is that you're innocent until proven guilty by a jury of your peers. So, until more people start standing up for that, they're going to do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. I think that was in Ohio, what you're talking about. I think I literally just seen it, 25 minutes ago for the first time. So more is going to come from that.
Overreach of federal policy on the state of Ohio. That's about to happen, even though Ohio's relatively red and all this stuff. I seen part of the video and I started watching and all this, and it's just like, they shouldn't release this shit. They really shouldn't release it. They should. I think we say this every time. They shouldn't release the footage on this stuff until it's like more, done.
Yeah, like, it's tricky. It's tricky areas to navigate, but I do agree ultimately, because what happens is it gets spun in narratives and opinions of the public before anything even happens. So this guy's guilty or innocent before he's actually guilty or innocent. We saw that with
social justice, right? Which is vigilantism, and you only have vigilantism if you have laws. And we have laws, and the idea behind our laws is that you're innocent until proven guilty in a fair court by a jury of your peers, which is supposed to be stronger than the judge. It's just like, this is so, once again, this thought and idea stems back to ancient Germania and ancient Greece and ancient places of thousands of years of civilization that forever changed the globe with the legal system. It's just like one very small reason to love it, man, like where we live. But that's why they've polluted this and taken this and distorted it. And once again, his thing, Biden's thing is just an email. It's not a law. There's no laws. OSHA can't make laws like that. They have to make law. They can only make regulations on laws from the state of the government. Like, and if there's federal law, there's got to be state law made. So you can make federal law and all this, but then the state has to be able to implement. Like, this isn't just, you're treating it like an email.
You were talking about Freudian slips, where
is that the word? Is the term? Am I saying it?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes there's Freudian slips of journalism where they have actual moments of journalism. This headline I don't know if they know they're supposed to tell people this or not. This is a case of saying the quiet part out loud. Headlines. World leaders reach landmark deal on a global corporate tax rate.
Yo, people love democracy until Asia's outvoting the whole fucking world. Can you imagine when we have global democracy and like one area of the globe dictates, right?
There's no if about this. I mean, globalism is inevitable. He knows. He knows. He doesn't just say that. He knows that's happening.
He's already president of life of the largest country's history ever. Like the largest population of a country, I think. It's them or India. It's one of those places.
Yeah, they both have like billions of people, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got all the shit in the area to fuck everybody else up. Like, he knows globalism's inevitable. He's already signed the deals. He already did it. He already did it. Come on. Global database. They want to track this. They're the ones with CRISPR. There's a disease that breaks out and kills millions of people and just happens to be in a province. We're not making bioweapons in America. I wonder why. Because of laws. Like, hey, come here, make viruses in China. Just fund them with American dollars and say it's for the betterment of humanity. Come on. This is like, I know why it's easy to think conspiracies are fake because it just buys into like a real easy villain. Like, oh, it's easy to put. But I mean, at what level of these guys literally stating there was just a submarine that crashed? You know where it crashed, David? In China. Oh, that's weird. It hit an unidentified object. I don't believe the press about shit the military does. Sorry.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of times when you're in a submarine, you do see a lot of objects that you can just run into in the middle of the ocean.
Especially when it's a nuclear sub. I'm sure you're just driving real close to everything.
Yeah, usually.
I think that was like boom, boom, sonar and X-ray and the whole underneath. You're driving a nuclear sub that could melt away and destroy trillions of all this crazy stuff. Like, come on. There's no way. There's no way. That isn't. You don't accidentally hit something. If we do, we have a serious problem with our military. And in that case, Joe Biden should be scared of the January 6th rioters because apparently you need F-15s to take over America. Not if you can't fly them. Can't even fucking drive a sub. That stays in water. You can't even pilot a sub? Come on, be honest here.
They must have hit a big coral reef or something. I don't know. That just appeared out of nowhere.
I never hear about them dying there. I wonder why. Never hear about overfishing in the largest market in all of the world. I wonder why. Hey, do you remember the headline back like 2 years ago that China's got, basic government-connected Asian people working in all global corporations, a high majority of them, basically a democracy of them. This is ridiculous. I can't wait for global democracy, David. It's going to be fantastic. I'm sure America is going to get a huge slice of that pie, I'm just sure because, we have so many important people.
You're more sure than I am. But don't worry. We can print our own slices of pie.
Dude, I got a couple of headlines right in the Buffalo News here. It's great.
Headlines.
Headlines: Woman who won't get shot denied transplant. That's weird. Headline: Pfizer asks FDA to authorize vaccine for children 5 to 11. Nobody's elected. Okay. Biden waiting a rule from OSHA urges companies to require vaccinations. OSHA is not elected by anybody, by our government. That's crazy that Trump pressuring campaign on Justice Department is in front of my local news about Biden waiting urge about forcing vaccines on people. And then right underneath it, there's a little thing about women getting denied transplant if you don't get their jab.
The joys of not filming a live show and being able to edit is that you've probably wondering what happened we had a pretty abrupt cut, I'm imagining. I didn't edit it yet. Headlines. Had to shit. What are you going to do? Hits quick.
CIA organization to place more focus on China, new intelligence technology. About time. I'm glad somebody's doing their job. Shouldn't you have been doing this? Considering they went there 50 years ago? Pompeo had a great speech about that. Under Trump. Oh, Hochul says she's unfazed as 3 from Brooklyn. I her governor's job. There's no more free elections.
That's the best thing you can do with the Buffalo News.
I won't even put it down my toilet.
Headlines. $1 trillion platinum coin could be minted at any minute. Here's where it gets really awesome. This is what I think it's funny. Where is it? Why it matters. Congressional solutions to the debt ceiling problem could take weeks to implement, especially if the reconciliation process is used and time is running out. In case of emergency, $1 trillion coin could be deployed to bridge any gap between the money running out and the debt ceiling being raised. Hold on. I don't think. Trust economics. I don't think they understand how money works. You could just print the coin out. Okay. And then what? If according to them, anytime you run out of money, you just print more. That's not how that works.
It works if you're trying to bankrupt the system, David.
Axios. Listen here,
By
Axios.
design, China's inflating their currency and our currency is getting inflated. Huh. That's weird.
It's ridiculous that we have to trust the science, but they don't have to trust economics. You can't just print money. It doesn't work that way. You can. It's a terrible idea. Ask Germany about it. They were burning money to stay warm. It's not ridiculous to say that. It's true. Trust history.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We don't trust science, and you don't trust history. They were taking wheelbarrows full of money. There's photographs of it. I've seen it. To go buy bread at the grocery store because it was 30,000 trillion, whatever it was, francs at the time.
That's not a conspiracy. That's what actually happened. That's why I like history, because you can point to it and say, hey, here's why this is a bad idea.
I mean, Rome fell because of debt.
Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. That's why, according to you, we should talk about history, politics, religion.
Yeah, I actually just told my sister, people, I practice what I preach about, laying into people in public about stuff. But my sister talked about how at work you shouldn't talk politics and religion. I was like, Haley, it's kind of why we have problems. Now, granted, I'm sure when our grandparents came home from messing up all of Europe and, were kind of trying to settle down after nuclear fallout, they were probably like, look, let's simmer down here. Like, this might not be the best time to talk about this right now. But then in that time, the Joker grew, man. Fucking government.
Anyway, that's all I had for headlines this week. But a couple of these things I just thought were interesting. And then there was some minor headlines that I didn't get to. Not that they're minor per se, but there's of course, I don't know if you heard about Kyle Rittenhouse. That's a name we haven't heard of for a while. Well, public opinion, we were talking about this. It's going to go to trial at some point. It's in pre-trial now. They had multiple experts on use of defense saying, yeah, that's pretty reasonable use of defense there. He's in the middle of a riot. He was getting attacked. He shot somebody. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. Let the trial take place. And then, of course, R. Kelly. We haven't talked about R. Kelly at all.
I got those keys to ignition, remix on the headline.
R. Kelly vows to expose Hollywood pedophile ring. Big names will be revealed.
I'm sure he's not going to kill himself.
No, R. Kelly did not kill himself. We'll get that on the record now.
The thought that we have to say that now, I'm just going to post this here. It's crazy. Everybody's openly talking about people being black vanned like it's a joke.
All great comedy has an element of truth, Ryan.
Yeah, or a mountain of it. It's really easy to make. I got level with people. It's really easy to make jokes about the truth if you pay attention.
Speaking of great comedy, was it NPR? NPR, I think, blamed Dave Chappelle for using white privilege. Did you see this?
What the fuck is wrong with him? Why?
Dave Chappelle
because white
could
people
not
like
have
him?
written a skit that funny.
I have yet to see it, so
I didn't see the new one yet, but yes, he was blamed for using white privilege to use homophobia and transphobia. I don't know, whatever words they use all the time. NPR, bastions of.
David, I now think, like you said, minor headlines, and like I did it last week, that like I think even those minor ones we got to state, even if we can't talk about them long, because at this point we are part of the record of the news because we've been right multiple times. We've been predicting these pathological liars and propaganda machines, so it's more important now than ever that we actually like try to stuff a couple at the end, even if we can't talk about them. Which is why I do show prep now, Dave. The Facebook blackout. There was apparently.
Yeah, that's right.
Apparently, like Facebook was down, and there was quote unquote a big hack and everything, which is hilarious because at the same time.
Oh no.
They have that whistleblower coming out saying Facebook knew about advertisements to your daughters and all sorts of stuff. You know what that tells me as somebody who knows that they have fuck islands somewhere, that they were running kiddie porn. They were running kiddie rings. People in Facebook were probably running kiddie rings. I'm sure R. Kelly's got plenty to talk about.
Oh, if that comes out, that would be. For the record, this isn't misinformation.
Dude, hold on.
This isn't misinformation. We're misspeaking.
Jeffrey Epstein is an older gentleman.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right?
For sure.
So imagine like a young guy. I'm not saying Zuckerberg in particular, but imagine like a young guy with a lot of money. Like getting introduced with what did
Especially
he do? Well, he's dead. Ha 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 ha.
Especially a younger guy who probably without the money wouldn't have any luck with the ladies.
Yeah, he probably gets simped on, just like Elon Musk's wife leaving him, just like Bezos getting divorced. You know, people told me in my misogyny TikTok video that, oh, that's what prenups are for. Obviously, you don't know what happens to men in court because plenty of wealthy people have lost all of their money to some lucky woman. I have a misogyny story that I won't go in full detail.
We haven't done a misogyny thing in a while, right?
Yeah,
it's been good. Been good about the misogyny.
Nah, I haven't. Just haven't talked about it. If I were to tell you, it'd have to be behind a paywall for the whole story. All right, trudging along. Facebook blackout. It's not coincidence that these guys had a blackout when they were talking about, oh yeah, it's our effect on our children. It's just affecting the next generation.
It was a coincidence. Blackout.
Also, another thing that was funny, the Pandora Papers came out this week, which, to be honest, I know nothing of, but I cannot wait to see people get suicided for these ones. Because it's like the largest leak of documents ever happened, and apparently they're finding Saudi Arabia and Vladimir Putin and all sorts of these other powerful creeps consorting and hiding their money in all these places. And you know what? Nobody cares. We care about Facebook blacked out. I saw. Normally, I don't care about Europe, but I will laugh when they suck, which is a lot. And I seen a thing that there was a fuel crisis in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, and you know what it was fueled by? You know what it was fueled by? The government switching petroleum to a greener petroleum.
That's
so
weird.
There was panic buying.
That's weird. They should try electric cars, see how that goes.
Do you remember how I just spoke last week about the government getting served first when it comes to automobiles? What about plugging them in?
I actually had a conversation today with a customer.
Yeah, but shortage charge cord. Can you imagine? Look, listen. Fuck, my phone's not charging. You get in your car, drive all the way to Target, get out, go to the phone section. No chargers. All right, I'll just go to Walmart. Get in your car, drive to Walmart, get out, run inside, go to the chargers. No chargers. All right, get in your car, go to the next place. No charges there either. I rethought the whole thing about me saying the average Joe won't be able to afford some of these things, which I do think is true. It's also going to be the parts and services and the accessories and the charge cords. I mean, they're basically putting a USB port on your car. Imagine when that thing breaks from you mishandling it or your dog chewing it. Yeah, it's just $10,000 to replace your charge cord for your car that you need to get to work instead of the.
Oh, I'm sure they're only like $2,500. To that point, though, in
$23 of dirty water that I put in a gas tank under my seat and drive to work by myself.
Here's a counterpoint, though, Ryan. These cars are going to need way less maintenance, and in theory, and I can't speak for actual statistics, but in theory, they should need less repairs.
On brand new technology that's never been tried before.
Well, in theory, because the reason I say this, because a car engine, and you know this, a gasoline engine, internal combustion, has, I don't know, what do you want to say, dozens of moving internal lubricated parts? Yeah. An electric car has none. It has none. Zero.
It's just a battery.
It's a battery and an electric motor.
It's the only thing that can break is really the motor, in theory, unless something corrodes or all this other stuff. But I still, to go full circle about globalism is inevitable. If you look at the patents for these batteries on all these car companies, basically except Tesla, they're all patented by Toyota. The Asians have all of our battery technology patents. If this was reversed, we'd be.
I mean, to be fair, let's be clear. Just to be fair, it's Japan. It's not like it's China. Japan's all right. Japan's not so bad.
For now,
they're a lot better than China.
For now, if we can't even sail a ship in the middle of a big puddle where nobody else is sailing.
Well, that was our fault. We just crashed.
Yeah, it might have been an alien down there, or Aquaman. I always gotta get a Batman joke in, bro. All right, the whole point. What the fuck did I start with? Oh, Pandora Papers and all these creeps. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. They make a mockery of your intelligence. I'm glad. I saw a thing that there was 200,000 COVID kits being recalled because of false positives.
That's weird.
And they were the at-home variants. So my question is what about all the government false positive tests?
Those are normal. You just sometimes it's part of the test. Sometimes you get bad ones.
And we count it as part of the statistics.
Yeah, that's right. And then we make policy based off of it. Trust the science.
Speaking about making policies, headlines. Allstate wants to track your mileage for insurance rates.
Is that new though?
No, they started with Progressive with that plug-in thing that Flo advertised with their big jugs.
Yeah, they've been doing this kind of stuff for a while.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you this: if they're telling you it, they've already been doing it. They already have the policies, the procedures, the infrastructure, just like the vaccine passport. That thing was already made. They're just like, yeah, you need this now. Download it for free on the App Store. I'm glad something I'm forced to have is free. No, for real though, dude. We've talked on this podcast for years now about data, and we don't know what they do with it. Dude, they've had these systems. They know how to implement them. They're going to implement them. They're going to talk to your car. They want all this data. And I will tell you, I will be the first one to tell you, this is not just for insurance rates.
It's got to be the only reason. I can't think of anything else.
Spying on me, recording me, taking pictures of me, monitoring my driving, where do I buy food from, what kind of shoes I like, where do I do my shopping mostly, one of the days of the week I'm the most active, how many miles I actually drove compared to how many I tell my insurance company. If I drive without my seatbelt on to alert authorities, or if I'm speeding, to alert local cameras in my area, my speeding cameras, to take pictures and arbitrarily send something to me.
Hey, speaking of, I'm making a trip up there tomorrow. Where are these cameras? For just, asking for a friend. I don't speed.
Well, I will tell you that it's not, I haven't necessarily, I swear they're cameras, but they are Urban.
Okay. But this is not a conspiracy, by the way. They have speed cameras in Buffalo.
Yeah, no,
I've seen the.
They definitely have them in the city.
They admit to having them. It's not like it's.
Yeah, the company that put them in directly contributed money to Mayor Byron Brown's campaign in like whatever year, like 2012 or something.
Yeah, I just hope it must be keeping everybody safe, Ryan. Surely.
Yeah, it was for to monitor gunshots.
What?
It was one of them, like that. They'll have like they'll be able to like echolocate. I think is one of them.
Speed cameras.
When you drive in the city, they have cameras on all the lights almost.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the speed cameras were used.
No, the speed cameras. I don't know if they're pulling. You know, currently right now in Depew, they don't mail you a speeding camera that I'm aware of, but they do have the speed things that measure how fast you're driving, and it's real time digital underneath the. Mm-hmm. Whose business is it how fucking fast I'm driving? Whose business? I mean, my speedometer is identifying as 30 miles an hour right now. Leave me alone. It's fucking ridiculous. All right, I think that's everything. I have a couple Decembertainments today.
Multiple Decembertainments.
Yeah, December crisis-tainment.
Oh.
First of all, I went to Slipknot.
Yeah, that's right. Were you requested to have a vaccine passport?
I walked right in. I walked around the whole place.
That's probably why Corey Taylor was a breakthrough case. He's not even checking for vaccines.
Apparently 2 days later, I think they were supposed to implement something. I don't know, but this is the only concert I'll probably end up going to. My point of bringing it up is I had the single greatest day of my life I've ever had. So taking minus like the kid stuff and all that crap. Like me personally, individually, greatest day of my life. I bought a $20 lawn ticket, and I eventually snuck my way into the pit for the last song. Front row, basically. I was 3 rows from the stage for $20. I got super fucked up. I broke a rib. I got my phone broke by a girl.
Wait, hold on. You broke a rib? For real broke a rib?
Yeah, it hurts like a bitch.
Yeah, I've had cracked and bruised ribs. I never actually broke, but
I don't know what it is, but it's fucking jacked up. So I got like 7 weeks of pain.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah, it's probably bruised. They hurt a lot. Does it hurt when you breathe?
All the time. Laugh.
Yeah, you bruised it. It's a good time.
It sucks. I got my phone broke, which is my second Decembertainment.
That doesn't sound Decembertaining at all. Is that why you went Facebook style 3-day blackout?
Yeah, I was 0 dark 30, not out of want but necessity.
I thought you just took another one of your things, because Ryan will do this from time to time. He'll just stop using technology.
Yeah.
He'll go Amish for a couple days. We'll come back. It was great. I was just outside walking and breathing air and stuff.
I was like, what our ancestors are doing.
Ryan would be perfectly fine if all of society collapses. Ryan would be fine. You could see him. He'd be out lapping from a pond, taking good creek water, boiling it, drinking it fresh.
Making a canoe out of rotten wood. They're like, it's only gonna last a day. Yeah, I know. Got plenty of trees. Oh my god, dude. So yeah. In full transparency, I can't really tell the full story, but I participated in some misogyny and I got my phone broke.
Oh, no. Can you tell the full story not on air? Because that sounds...
Yeah. It's just not around my daughter. My clothes stayed on. That's what I will say. So that was a greatest day of my life. I flipped Corey Taylor off, and the entire time I screamed, "Fuck Corey Taylor, go MGK." And, every time I go there, I call him a bitch because I always think I sing harder than he does, which I do. So, met up with a friend of mine. Shout out to Mike. Thanks for everything, man. Love you, dude. But he went up there with his buddy and stuff. I met up with him, and him and I were talking. I was just zoning, thinking, yeah, Slipknot day. I had to apologize. It's not that I'm distracted. It's just like, at this point, it's the 8th time I've seen him. And like the last quite a few times I've been getting so into it. It's like ritualistic when I'm there. And I always say that the guy that goes in there is not the person that leaves there. And Sunday was no different. Greatest day of my life. Thank you, Slipknot, for a performance. God damn it. I have no voice, broken rib. I had a broken phone. And yeah, nothing but awesome times. My second Decembertainment, speaking of that, was about not having a cell phone for 3 days. You can't do it, can you? You couldn't do it, could you?
I mean, I could, if I really had to, but I wouldn't prefer to do it. I definitely wouldn't want to do it.
I went to naturally break a phone, and now we have this thing called You Break, I Fix, which we didn't always have. Kids that are born after us, you had to get a whole new phone back in my day. So I go in there, I'm like, how much for a screen? She's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'll see what Verizon says, because it was like quite a bit of money. Go to Verizon, I was like, all right, I know you probably don't have a lot of phones, because I understand how the world works. I was like, but if you can get me in for a phone right now cheaper than what You Break, I Fix said, maybe I'll get a new phone, right? Now, full transparency, people, my last iPhone I bought was preconditioned, like, they go through and fix it or whatever. So pre-owned. It was last year's model at the time, and I paid it off in full in like 3 or 4 months. I don't like the thought of having to pay $50 a month for a cell phone. So the thought that I was willing to do that in myself was like, God damn it, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like it was a little torn for me. Mm-hmm. So I sat there, and the girl, she's like, all right, I'll go on back and bring up some options. She brought me out one sheet of paper. A lot of options on a sheet of paper. It was the iPhone 13 Pro. I was like, is this the new one that just came out? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay. If I do it today, like when I get it? She's like, oh, the end of October. And she's like, it might get pushed back. Nobody knows. It's like, people do this. Like, you do this, you willingly sign. Nah, fuck that. So, like, she's sitting there scrolling, trying to get it. I was like, whatever. I just need a phone that works. You know what I mean? Like, desperation, little... At that moment, it wasn't necessarily full rationality. I was like, yeah, whatever. So she's scrolling, my phone's fighting her, right? Like, it's not fucking, I gotta remember all these passwords, and then, like, it's not loading, and it's all these, it's like you get literally from a sign from God that, like, you don't need this phone. And I was like, you know what? I'll just go to You Break, I Fix. So I go to You Break, I Fix. They charge me quite a bit of money. They're like, yeah, pick it up tonight. So I get a phone call that night. Yeah, it's really got a lot of water damage, so we got to have it for another day. It's like, you son of a bitch. So I need my phone, for my life, obviously, but I use it for work. So it's like,
Yeah. That's why it would be extra tough for me.
Yeah, like, it sucked. I'm very fortunate that it worked, count my blessings on that one. But the fact remains, man, like, there was a little level of zen to it. Like, the first 2 days, because it basically was 3 days. It was like Sunday night to Wednesday. And the first 1 day or 2 days, it was kind of like the habit. And then after that, I was like, and I've gone, the longest time I've ever gone is like a month and a half, I think. Definitely a month without a cell phone in the modern era. And I did it because I didn't want to buy a new phone. I was waiting for them to unlock my iPhone. It took Apple a month to unlock my iPhone with probably a team of people.
I feel like I remember this. How long ago was this?
2016. No, I'm sorry, 2018.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, so I went it was over a month, but shorter than 2 months for sure. But yeah, I did that, and dude, after I gained a whole new perspective, But the 3 days, I really enjoyed it. I was busting out the pad and pen again, real heavy. Trying to do that. I was doing that with technology to begin with, but it made me resort back to more archaic ways of entertaining myself. I had to entertain myself. Driving 40 minutes in the car, I hate the radio. I would just drive in silence, and think to myself. Which most people can't do that. So maybe I'm just a weird fuck. But I try to find the meditation in not having this thing that I'm addicted to. That we all know we're all addicted to them. So I enjoyed it. I urge everybody to like maybe take a day of rest on it or something. What was the third Decembertainment?
A third one. So you said you had two.
Oh yeah. Sorry, my park. The first day I got my phone back, I went on a park walk. Now, dude, I've been feeling so spiritual lately. You know, not to sound like dumb or whatever, but for real, I've been feeling real spiritual, real connections to a lot of people, like the earth and all that, and breathing, enjoying the stars and moon and all the hippy dippy shit, man. But for real. And I woke up, you know, I did my thing at work, and I had the evening to myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the park. And I did like I was there for like at least an hour, you know, just walking. We have a real great place close to me, real close, called Rhinestone Nature Preserve. My favorite park I've ever been to, right in my backyard, which is even more beautiful. And there's a lot of history there. They have history trails and education things like most parks, but being my local community and stuff, like it hits hard, you know, it's awesome. But I like real relished in it. And I was there like 2 minutes, saw a hawk trying to hunt squirrels, saw a couple snakes. I'm picking up fucking garden snakes and stuff, and I stumbled across a big herd of deer. And deer to me are like real symbolic. They always remind me of my father. He's a hunter. You know, I have so many good times with him, and a lot of my I'll call it green thumb, but my connection to earth, man, comes from him fishing and stuff. I don't eat them, but I enjoy going. I enjoy outdoors. I enjoy not being without my cell phone for 3 days. Like, it is nice, therapeutic. I enjoy it. And this park walk, man, it was like God opened up to me or something, man. Like, I was just like enjoying all the squirrels and all the little things in life, and especially this week of turning 30. You know, I meant be grateful, right? That was in there, be grateful. And I have been grateful. I've been grateful for a long time now. Still grateful. Still looking forward to being grateful. And like for that to all manifest in the woods by myself and my own thoughts. And like I felt like all these things connected. I had a lot of good thoughts to myself, and it's like real empowering, and it was a real lovely way to enjoy my time to myself, like to actually be to myself. So you know, it's something I started doing when I got older, but I always would camp and stuff, and we had a relationship in my family. We could go to a camp and cabin, and we went a lot, you know, like probably at least 100 times, hunting, fishing, camping fires, you know, tobogganing. I was very fortunate for that, and I feel sorry for people that don't have that connection, but you know, it's never too late to start, man. Rhinestone Nature Preserve, real close to us in Depew. It's awesome. You know, enjoy. You know, I just enjoy nature. I actually sent a thing in the chat to the boys about it. You know, get out, enjoy the day. Snow's coming up here in Western New York, so I'm sure there's going to be emergencies of government and polar vortex crises and all sorts of shit that I'll be able to document on my program here with David at December 1773. I appreciate everybody if you made it to the end. We drop Monday Eastern at 7 p.m. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Please share, engage. Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, most importantly. And yeah, thank you, David. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, see you guys at the premiere. Hopefully I'll be there live commenting. I was not because of my incompetence. Man, I wish I could tell the story of the phone breaking.
I was almost wondering why, because I got a video from Ryan, like, I don't remember what day it was. Must have been Wednesday or whatever. It was like, yeah, I'm watching the show now. I'm like,
yeah, I was doing like post show coverage. And to even go further, we'll go one more Decembertainment. Give it to the people extra this week. Bills game, bro. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Coming tomorrow night, Sunday night. So when we air this on Monday, we will be 1 day past. And we will know the outcome. As of right now, it's Saturday. We have no idea what's going to happen.
I know it's super easy to always ask, but do you think the Bills got it, dude? Like, really? Do you think they really got it? Because we've always lost to Mahomes with Allen, bro.
A lot of people lose to Mahomes.
It's like Achilles fighting Hercules.
So I saw a couple of things for whatever it's worth. The Bills have currently the number 1 defense in the league. Maybe strength of opponent has something to do with it. They haven't played anyone very good. The Kansas City Chiefs have the 31st ranked defense, which is almost last. It's basically last. That was not that way last time we met. So I don't know. I feel like our defense has improved enough.
Too, right? We actually
Yeah, we could run now. We can run and play good defense, and that combination can keep Mahomes off the field. The interesting stat I heard about Kansas City, I don't know if this is the exact right number, but it's something like this. I think Kansas City has punted 6 times this year.
God,
in 4 games. They've punted 6 times in 4 games.
Incredible.
And they're 2-2. They're 2-2. That's how bad their defense is that their offense has only had to punt 6 times.
Yeah, that's
and they still only won 2 games out of 4.
I don't put too much stock in the people on the internet, with the broadcasters from these organizations. But I listen to I'll say a half hour of the videos. I love they're bringing it down to the quarterback, which I know why they do it. But dude, it's they say it every week. It's complimentary football. I love McDermott. I love what he's done with the Bills and stuff like that. That's what they mean, man. Being able to run the defense, like you said, is number 1 compared to theirs. So it's all that chemistry, all the people returning. They got a new offensive line that necessarily may not hold, I guess. But they're all talking about Allen and stuff, dude. Josh Allen was benched for 2 games in the 4th quarter, I think, right? I know definitely last week when they smoked him, but the other games, they're running the clock out. They're not playing full blitz trying to score 50 points every game.
Yeah, and to be clear, when we say he's benched, he was benched because we blew the teams out and Trubisky came in to finish the game out.
Yeah. Dude, imagine it.
That's the point, though, is he hasn't had to play a full game. I mean, he played the whole game against Pittsburgh, which was a disaster, but I consider that was the last game of preseason, in my opinion.
4th game of the season, your quarterback's sitting out to rest up for next week. Against all the hype right now, and you're able to bench your quarterback? Come on, dude. They pulled some of their safeties out and secondary members out, rest them up. Tre'Davious White, I think, came out, and Matt Milano, I think, didn't even play, but Poyer didn't play, and I know why he didn't play. They need him for Kansas City. On Pat Mahomes, got to be 100%.
Yeah.
So it's so cool. It's so cool to have a good team, and it's hyped when literally these guys went to the Super Bowl. And also we're seeing a lot of conversations about how the teams will be fighting a lot because they're both young, awesome, best quarterbacks right now in the game, and they're in the same division, conference, whatever. I'm sorry, but they're going to be playing like this for a while, or eventually at the championship. We only played them a couple times during regular season, but he'll always be in our way. He'll be like our young Tom Brady, so it's cool. But go fucking Bills. Once again, thank you, everybody. Dave, Ryan, December 1773.
Thank you. Enjoy 30 years old. I've already enjoyed it.
I appreciate it, man.
You can look to me with as your elder. You can look to me for experience.
Thanks, David. I appreciate you for your counsel. They say 30 is the new 20. That's not true.
No, you break ribs at 30.
Yeah, 30 might be a better 20. I know what you mean. But, I really think about how far I've come in my life. I'm pretty proud of myself. So that's the most important. I can only compare myself to my former 30 years from now on. And, Lord willing, I make another 30. But thank you, everybody. Be safe.
Thanks, everybody.
Go Bills!